welcome back to my channel. I'm Emma, in case you don't know, and today I want to talk about all the books that I want to read in May. Let's get started. So the first book that I want to read this month, actually I want to start it today because I just finished a book yesterday. It was horrible, but I'll tell you about that another time. So the book I want to read next is Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I read her other book, well, the first book in the series of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I really loved it. And I've heard really good things about this one. Also, I'm just really intrigued about the way it's written and the way the chapters are structured, because it's got these, like the chapters are the times. It's set in a night. Well, so this is about a trip of 6 friends who go to the woods or somewhere. Is it the woods? They go on a road trip. And then their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere and someone is following them, and and then they've got 8 hours to escape until dawn, I guess. And one of them is gonna die, at least I assuming from the title. And I'm just really intrigued, and I want to know what the hype is about because everyone's talking about it, and I'm late to the party, so that's the first one. And then next up is also another book that's been really hyped up in the media, and that's How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. Yeah, Mackie. And I just loved the blurb of it because okay, this blurb doesn't say what it's about really, but I thought that it's about is it a serial killer? Well, it's about someone who's murdered people. I guess all the people in their family. Grace, yeah, she's a serial killer, and but she's been charged for a murder that she hasn't actually committed. I just like the concept of like having a serial killer who is just in prison for a crime that they actually didn't commit. I just thought that sounds intriguing, and so many people are talking about it, so I want to know what it's about. Yes. And the next one I want to read this month is a bit of a shorter book, which is good because I need some shorter books in between, and that's O William by Elizabeth Strout. And I just heard really good things about it. I think it's a contemporary fiction, literary fiction book about like an ex-couple. The protagonist goes on a trip with her ex-husband to discover like some kind of family secret, and so I think it's about rethinking how well you actually know your family and the people who you're closest to, and I just thought it sounds really interesting. Yeah, that's it. So I want to read this month. Also, I found it at Oxfam, which means it was too quick, and I can't say no for a too quick book. The next book is actually one that I got for free, also at Oxfam, where I volunteer there, and I saw this book there when I was sorting the books upstairs, and this is a proofread copy, and we can't sell them, so I got it for free. And this is actually, well, it's supposed to come out in June, I think, so that's mainly why I want to read it this month, just so that I'm early. I want to be able to read something that hasn't actually come out. So this is a murder mystery as far as I know. By the way, this is Speak of the Devil by Rosie Wilde. I don't know her, but I'm intrigued. I also thought, firstly, I love the cover. And then also I just love the story of it, because I think it's about like 7 women who find the body of a man's severed head on the floor in the house that they're in, and they're like really like diverse people. Like there's a wife, a teenager, an ex, the journalist, the colleague, the friend, and the woman who raised him. So it's all like people who are connected to the guy who got killed, and they are trying to find out who murdered him and trying to be one step ahead of the police who are also investigating. And I just like a good thriller mystery, murder mystery with female protagonists, and that's why I want to read it, and I hope I'll read it soon, and hopefully this month, so I'm ahead of everyone else. The next one that I want to read is a bit of an older book. Well, it's not old, but I think it's a modern classic, and that's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I feel like he might be German. Is he German? Is it a translation? First published. No, I don't think he's German. Anyway, but it's set in Germany as far as I know. Or in Austria? Oh my god, I don't know. Well, it is a classic. Well, I don't actually really know what it's about, to be honest. I just know that, well, it's about a girl as far as I know, who steals a book, and it's set during World War II or just before. Okay, well, I'll just read you the blurb. This is the tale of the book thief, as narrated by Death. And when Death tells a story, you really have to listen. It's just a small story, really, about, amongst other things, a girl, an accordionist, some fanatical Germans, a Jewish fist fighter, and quite a lot of thievery. It is quite chunky, so I'm a bit intimidated, but I really want to read it because I think it's just one of those books that you kind of have to read if you say that you like books. And I really love books about books, so yes, that's on my reading list. The next one is also a book about books, and it's also a historical fiction book, but it is The Last Bookshop in London, yes, by Madeline Martin. And I just really like, I just like the story, like the way it sounded. Like it's also set during World War II, and it's about what the bookshops in London were like during the war. So I'm not sure if it's actually like a true story. I think it's fictionalized. But yeah, I think it's about the people in London and their experiences during the war, and also just their courage and resilience. And yeah, I don't know how the bookshop like fits into the general themes, but I just thought it sounds like something that I would enjoy, so I'm excited to get to this month. Also found it at Oxfam. Most of my books are either from Oxfam or when I just sometimes when I'm weak and I go to Waterstones, and then I just end up buying books that I really don't need or have the money for. Yes, such as this one. I found this by chance. I don't really know why, but I think I just googled the author because I was looking for one of her old books. They're old books. I'm not quite sure if they're they or she. The author Becky Albertelli. And I just saw that she's got the author has a new book coming out, and I needed it, and I just thought it sounds so good. I think it's about like finding out, discovering your sexuality. So this is about a girl who's in the LGBTQ society. Well, she's part of the LGBTQ society at her school, even though she doesn't think that she is a queer person. But she's really supportive, supports all those campaigns and helps organise them. And then there is this new girl who is openly lesbian, as far as I know. Yeah. And I think then there's also the fake dating kind of trope, because then this new girl or the main protagonist claim that they used to date, and then over time, I guess the main protagonist questions her sexuality and starts feeling things for Imogen, which is the new girl as far as I know. Oh, by the way, this is also the author of Love, Simon, and yeah, so I really want to read it. Next up is another book, but this is a romance as far as I know, and not historical, and this is The Little Paris Bookshop, which it looks so cute. I just love books about books. It's just, yeah, So this is by Nina George, and I think it's just a romance about a Parisian guy, Jean Perdu, who has a bookshop in Paris. And yeah, so he tries to cure people. What was that? Cure people by recommending or selling them books and trying to like help them with their mental health and daily struggles. And it says that the only person who he can't cure is himself. And then like I think then there's a new neighbour moving in next door to the bookshop or his own flat. And yeah, I guess there's just a relationship forming between them. It just sounds cute. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it's gonna be super unique. Well, you never know, but it sounds cute and I want to read it. Next up is a non-fiction book actually, which I'm really intrigued about. I don't know where I heard about it first, but yeah, it's When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Calanthe. And this is about a neurosurgeon. Is it neurosurgeon? Yeah, a neurosurgeon who finds out that he's got cancer as and when he's diagnosed, it's kind of too late to do anything about it. So he just, I think it's just the perspective that's really interesting, like because it's his autobiography, and he is writing about how he experiences being diagnosed with cancer and just moving from being the person who tries to save people's lives and like being the surgeon to being the patient. And I think this is going to be heartbreaking because it is it's written by himself and then it's actually finished by his wife after he passed away, because he did pass away in 2015 as far as I know. And I'm just ready to have my heart broken again and I want to read it. And next up, well, I've got two more books and they were cover buys. I just saw them and I was like, what the heck is that? Well, with this one at least. And that is Isaac and the Egg by Bobby Palmer. As far as I know, it's his debut novel. And I saw this at Waterstones and I was just intrigued because it just looks so, I don't know, random, and also the title. I didn't really know what it was about, and then I read it and I still don't really know what it's about. I'm not quite sure if it's like a mix of like magical realism or like fantasy, because like let me read you the blurb. It is early. A young man stands on a bridge and lets out a heart-wrenching scream. From deep in the woods, something screams back. It sounds improbable, but this is how Isaac meets the egg. The two are unlikely companions, but their chance encounter will transform Isaac's life in ways he cannot yet imagine. Maybe he will finally understand why he went there that morning. Maybe he will find a way to tell the truth. Sometimes, to get out of the woods, you have to go in them. I don't know what it's about. Like, underneath it says that it's sad, funny and original and about grief, and I think I'm just going to go into it not knowing more than what the blurb says, and I hope I like it. I feel like I probably like it, but yeah. So this was a cover bar, and And then the last physical book that I want to read this month is also a cover / title by purchase, and that is No, I Don't Want to Join a Book Club by Virginia Ironside. And look at this book. I just love it so much. It just looks like, yeah. I feel like I already love the main protagonist just by looking at the cover and the title. I mean, she's got a cat, she's got wine, she's sitting on a couch or a bed. That's all you need, really. And then I just love like how confident she sounds, the protagonist or whoever it's about. So I don't actually know anything about this book. I saw it and I bought it without reading the blurb. So let's read it together. Too Young to Get Whisked Away by a stairlift to enjoy the luxury of a walk-in bath, but not so much that she doesn't enjoy comfortable shoes. Mary is all the same getting on in years, and she's thrilled about it. She's a bit preoccupied about whether to give up sex. Ouch, ouch, ouch. But there are compensations, like falling in love with her baby grandson, and maybe falling in love with someone else too. Yeah, I think it's like a diary, written like a diary. I love it when things are written like a diary, and as compared to Bridget Jones. Well, I've actually never read Bridget Jones, and I wasn't a big fan of the movies, I've only seen one of them, but yeah, I thought it sounds cute, and it sounds cool, and I really like reading from perspectives of mature main protagonists. Yeah, so this is the last physical book that I want to read this month, and then I've got 3. I might have 2 more physical books that I want to read this month. Yes. So, I ordered one of them last week and I forgot that it should arrive soon. Yeah. I ordered Persepolis, which is by an Iranian author, and she's basically writing about her childhood, how it is to grow up in Iran, and yeah, so she's the great-granddaughter of Iran's last emperor. It says, Persepolis paints an unforgettable portrait of daily life in Iran and the bewildering contradictions between home life and public life. This is a beautiful and intimate story, full of tragedy and humour, raw, honest, and incredibly illuminating. Yes, I'm really excited to read this. And then the other book is actually a book that one of my friends gave me yesterday because he visited his family back in India, and he got me a book from India, and I'm really, really excited to read it because it's called Song of Draupadi, which is a book about Indian mythology, and I really want to widen my knowledge about worldwide mythology because I only really know some things about like English and Greek and Roman mythology and some Germanic mythology, but not really so much about like Asian or African mythology, so I really want to read more about it. And he brought me back this book and I'm really excited to read it because it's about a really cool, feminist, powerful girl who has to fight battles. So it says, from beloved daughter and princess of Panchala to wife of the brave Pandavas and queen of Indraprashta, Draupadi finds herself exiled to the forest, humiliated and determined on vengeance. This novel is a symphony in several keys of her voice and those of other women around her, arguing, pleading, reasoning, and often raised in righteous anger. And it just sounds so cool. I can't wait to read it. So these are 2 more books that I want to read this month, physical books. And now let's go to the audiobooks that I want to read this month. Well, the first one is Emma by Jane Austen. I'm actually listening to it at the moment whilst puzzling and getting carried away and not being productive for uni. But yeah, so I want to finish Emma. I really love it so much so far. And also, I mean, I feel like as someone whose name is Emma, I kind of have to read it, especially because I like reading. So yeah, I want to catch up with my classics. Not my classics, the classics, and my knowledge of them. Yes. And then next up, I want to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Fairies. Is that what it's called? Yes, that's what it's called. It's described as a cozy fantasy, kind of, and then there's also like a enemies to lovers trope, or rivals to lovers. So it's about, as far as I know, it's about a researcher of fairies who's quite like shy and introverted, and she goes to this small town for her to do further research on fairies, and whilst being there she also encounters one of her academic rivals, who is not shy and who's really outgoing, and he really interacts with all the people in town, and he's like the new cool popular guy, and yeah, so they don't really like each other, and they're also researching the same thing. So, but then again, I guess feelings are evolving, I'd assume. And also the guy, I don't know what his name is, but he supposedly has a secret that the main protagonist, is gonna uncover. Yeah, and I just love a good cozy fantasy, and I love fairies, and I love small town settings, and yeah, so that's what I want to get to this month. Next up, I want to read Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I know that this is her first novel, and it's about Tori, who is Charlie's brother from Heartstopper, and about her struggles with depression and moving out to university and finding friends whilst also not being outgoing and being, yeah, I don't know. I think her writing's been compared a bit to John Green, so I'm assuming it's not going to be a really happy novel, but I'm just really intrigued. And I also, when I read Heartstopper, I was really intrigued about Tori's character, so I want to find out what it's all about, well, what her character is all about. And yeah, then the last book that I want to get to this month, last audiobook, is The Bandit Queens, and it reminded me a little of what's it called again? Is killing it. Someone is killing it. I'll look it up and put it here. Yes, and so because it's about an Indian woman who, well, her husband dies, and somehow everyone in the town where she lives in assumes that she's been the one getting rid of her husband, that she's actually murdered him, when she hasn't, but she just lets everyone believe that she has, because as like a widow, she just finds out that it's she comes to realise that it's just easier to let everyone believe that you're dangerous and capable of committing murder, and so she's just this bandit queen in a small town in India, as far as I know. And then when the other women in town find out about it, they over time come to her place to ask her for help to also get rid of their husbands. And so I think it's just like this, yeah, female agency, feminist, kind of weird, well, not really, I'm not sure if there's going to be murders in there, but yeah, I just thought it sounds really cool and sounds like something I would like. And so that's the last audiobook that I want to get to this month, and these are all the books I want to read in May. I hope in my monthly wrap-up at the end of this month I can tell you about all of them. And thank you for watching. Let me know if you've got any of these, and or if you want to read any of these. And I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!